Gorgeous afternoon in September. How you fuckers doing? Oh, good. This is that awesome. Like it's barely fall, so it's still summer, but it's like brisk summer. Oh, this is beautiful weather. Anyway, how you doing? So I am. I've been dwelling on a whole lot of thoughts, right? Because I don't just like just like many other situations. I didn't need to do this. I didn't need to put myself through this kind of thing, right? And and at the same time, so why am I bothering to speak up? That I think is the first thing that I ought to say. Now that I'm making a second video, and I've also engaged, and that of course is based also on an engagement in Twitter, right? And I've just never liked when I see somebody whose intentions are good doing what I can see is, trying to do the right thing from a bigger standpoint, right? And a lot of people feel like they're doing that anyway. And when somebody comes up to you and says, listen, you're fundamentally flawed in something that you're talking about, that is asking for a debate. And that's the only thing that he did, right? Now, this is why this fascinates me so much. To my knowledge, there isn't really a hell of a lot of people that have crossover with anybody that I know of that doesn't like James. I mean, it's not coming from Balderson. Hi, Karen from London. I'm assuming you're just telling me where you're from. Otherwise, I'm not interested in a trip to the British Isles at the moment. Thank you. It's not coming from Balderson. Balderson has said some very harsh words about archaics publicly in conversations with me online. So I know it ain't him. I've heard similar things from Owen Benjamin about Jason Brashears, that even though Jason and Owen don't like each other, they both also don't like Jason. It's ridiculous. It's like, I couldn't fucking tell you who in his universe, how he comes to his own personal conclusion that there's something wrong with responding to a man with several books and 19,000 subscribers on his channel and a reasonably healthy Patreon, for most any man. How how there's something wrong with him as a person worthy of stepping up to debate, right? Because obviously the qualifications of debate have now just been laid out by the dude, right? So he's been running around this whole time saying, debate me, debate me, debate me. He didn't lay out any fucking qualifiers. And thus it doesn't make any sense that he would have reacted the way that he did and just taken the word stretching in context to his audience as an insult. That just sounds ridiculous to me. It just sounds fucking ridiculous to me. So I think that there's a vibe check, right? I made a video a while, not even a while back, like a week or so back or something. I made a similar video before there was any beef of any sort going on, and I didn't care about who Jason's enemies were, and so on and so forth, and what enemies Jason was making. Hardly cared. Even the Jay Dreamers bit didn't quite care. I was just reaching out, saying, let's see. I think I feel right about asking him to do a thing, and I'm just sitting there. I'm prepping myself, right? It's just like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna try and absorb a whole lot of this, and I'm not in a place for the books right now, especially with the books I already got on my stack and the rest of my life. So if that makes me unqualified, that's fine. All I know is that I sent out an email maybe twice, maybe 3 times. No response. Allegedly, Shiva Shampoo once was interested in my work, although I never fucking saw him around. I find these things weird. I find these things weird. I think that maybe the Archaics people are perhaps a little intellectually up their own ass. Sorry, I had to say it. All right. I don't believe that the best people in Jason's circle are so insecure. Because what's the implication? What's the implication? The implication is that the people that follow Jason are a little foolish in being misled. But that's going to be the bit, right? So look, I think that this is just a petty reaction to not liking that question coming from somebody smaller than Jason. Somebody who's not been writing books as long, who's not been writing as many books as somebody who hasn't been doing the YouTube thing so long, someone who's never had a crossover turn into a devastating career dive where James had a certain level of success because of before mentioned characters and such. And then a lot of those fans left him. It forced him to change the way he did content. And the revelation I think that there's I think the pattern ultimately is the same pattern that I get in the manner in which I do things, which is kind of button pushy, right? It's the manner in which he can reflect back at you, right? It freaks people out a tiny bit, right? It freaks people out, and there's a reason why that gets done and is put in a useful place in the public. Because if you're a public figure, somebody has to hold you accountable when you're big, when you become more of a top dog. I've got, I don't know if it's a bee or a friendly yellow jacket. It's not aggressive, just curious. Anyway, I'm just saying, man. Don't you hate people that just say I'm just, and I do say that a lot. I hate like running things down to an I'm just saying, but it kind of goes with the territory when this kind of live streaming kind of flow state of thoughts, and you're just trying to bridge one thought together with the other and say something simple that concludes the other thought. That's really all that it is. It has nothing to do with me literally just pretending like what I said is nothing. So when I'm just saying, I'm not just saying. I'm mostly putting a cap on the last sentence of the entire thought. because the whole point is to say that, like, you know, just you got to make you can. We all have to do all sorts of things to take care of ourselves, to take care of our personal image in certain respects. You know, who we care to be associated with and why, and how that influences us. And there's extremely valid reasons for these kinds of things. Let's see. Greetings, beautiful souls from across the pond, but under the same skies. Should everyone be accountable and not just those in public view? Well, yes, but the thing is, those in public view, we're talking about, this is the accountability of your public persona. There's a difference between your personal accountability, like me walking down the street, me living my life, going to work, going to market, going to friends and family. That's personal accountability. This is the public accountability. This is your persona. This is who you present yourself to be, how you state your intentions, how you are presenting your product, and what you are showing and what you are not showing, right? These are different kinds of accountabilities. There's one standard of accountability I am held to doing this right now with you. There's another standard of accountability when I am operating in an interview or a group effort. There's another standard, like I said, you know, going about personal life, right? The personal life one has different variants of accountability, and the public life one also has different variants. All right, because Jason has many arenas in which his public persona is. So does James. He's just a small version of the same business model, right? Book writer, video content creator, live streamer, I don't know, conversational organizer. I'm sure Jason does some really neat stuff with his fans in private, right? On whatever their tight inner circles are. Everybody's gonna have their tight inner circles. No big fucking whoop. They're probably all terrific people. Terrific people can be fooled into stretched material. It happens all the fucking time. That's okay. You're not as foolish as you think. It's not as big a deal to feel insulted because somebody said you believed something that was stretched. You know, which is an ambiguous allegory. Yeah, it's a little infuriating. It was a first comment on a tweet. You were expecting Shakespeare out of what, 38 characters? I don't count them until they start running out on the feed. So whatever, you know, your X tweet character limit, and you know, how many things that James thinks Jason is stretching does he want him to reasonably mention in a one quick fucking tweet to get your goddamn fucking attention and set the tone of the debate? It would have been a very diverse debate, like a presidential debate. Okay, now we're going to talk about the economy, and now we're going to talk about metaphysics, and now we're going to talk about the illusion. Like, people would want to hear that, right? You have to understand that certain people can't be heard, though, right? This is something that I've come to learn as you go down a fucking rabbit hole. There's an entire vernacular. There's an entire, you know, one term is said, and then that term has an entire history and context behind it that you're not studied up on, because you have to do a bunch of back work on just the academic side. And then there's the vernacular side on top of that, which is the language that has evolved for people having the conversation about it, which is a very particular form of context, right? And so many things are going to get lost on many people on that approach, especially when you're doing the ultra smart, heady stuff working with big words and old words from peoples and times and events that happened long ago and are dislodged from a great deal of artifacts and records, right? Which, that's all it is. It was as basic an invitation to say, I'm of a mind that is very different than yours. Let's have the debate, right? And so he enticed your audience by perhaps, saying something that can be taken out of context. But so what? So the fuck what? Why do you bother putting music and bookshelf shots? Like, why do you have an intro? Why? Because it's a production thing. Why would somebody want to debate you by opening up by insulting one of your ideas? Not you, your ideas, because it's wrestling. It's something to fight about with words. The bare minimum of what it is for two gentlemen to have a duel. And you failed the test, Jason. That's sad. That's fucking sad. You could have said no in several honorable ways. But instead, you decided to create a mountain out of a molehill. He decided to create a mountain out of a molehill for no explicable fucking reason. Ooh, this guy just shows up. I'm filming this flower because a big bumblebee just flew inside of it. Yeah, see him in there? Hi, big guy. Look at him. Oh, he's buzzing. Yeah! He's a happy boy. Okay. Ooh, Germany. Have you watched me reading Heidegger? If you're from Germany, good to see you. Too bad I never saw you while I was reading Heidegger. I was speaking German. Some people said I was doing okay. I still have no idea how to fucking be conversational. You were very cool. I appreciate it. Don't forget to, people leave me comments. Leave me a comment just saying, hey, thank you, or whatever. It's good to see. It's interesting the way the ratios work. I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Dankeschön. Ha, wunderbar. Anyway. So yeah, because it's ridiculous to me, right? Like, I do the Mandela Effect interview with James, right? The Mandela Effect is, his theory of Mandela Effect was a great challenge for me. In fact, based on many rational reasons, I'm more inclined to looking at the Mandela Effect that way in almost most cases. I think there could be a few time glitch things because I don't like leaving it out because of other things I know. But when I look at how things socially, psychologically, psychically stack up with the Mandela Effect, those ideas are great too. And this is part of technology of belief, how we hallucinate reality. All this stuff is actually an excellent juxtaposition to the simulation theories of Jason. Those things should go head to head, and nobody should have fucking hurt feelings over that. You're just fucking arguing how the illusion works on a technical manual level. It ought to be fun. It ought to be fun. But this gets into the same problem with Egyptologists. Egyptologists act like this, Jason. This is exactly how these fucking fraudulent Egyptologists act. Why are you acting like them? You're turning into what you hate. You could have fucking turned James down in a dignified, honorable, respectful manner. These, I think I have some sort of like a peace treaty with the Yellow Jackets, because that was a Yellow Jacket, and he did not want to he didn't try to attack me, but he was kind of like being a security guard and pushing me along. I find that amusing. Anyway, I don't mind Yellow Jackets. I try not to kill them. They just need personal space. Dolly always had braces. Right, I am Mandela Effect like that. too. And I find it hard to believe that I wasn't in an actual reality that was like that. See, he wants to be over. There's not even plants over here. Go to a plant. Stop bothering me. not, not your enemy. It's not your territory. I mean, it might be, but come on. Ugh. Anyway, yeah, exactly. And and it's just like, and I think that the mass hallucination, I think some of it is pure accidentally sympathetic magic. The simple concept, that you ever been in a group of people, and you're from the outside of that group of people's conversations, knowledges, intelligence levels, vocabulary, so on and so forth. They start going off on a conversation, and the whole conversation is madness to you because they got something very important fucking fundamentally wrong that throws off the entire conversation, and you don't want to derail it because everybody is they're drunk on the conversation. They want to be drunk. They're having fun, right? And the tone of the place is fun, right? So, if somebody gets wrong, if enough, like, because I can see enough people kind of like misreading that because of the holes in the plot that the mind kind of fills in. If you kind of catch what I'm trying to explain. With those holes in the mind, somebody else who wasn't too particularly paying attention the first time or couple of, because dude, like, gotta remember, like, the movie wants you to catch that. It doesn't draw explicit attention to it, other than it's the center frame of the shot because it's their face and it's their smile. What else would it be? And you may not be making the correlation that there's something up with her teeth in the first place, right? Like, for some people, they're not following that subtext, right? And they imagined it. It's possible that they simply imagined it because the one guy who got it wrong and repeated it like he was perfectly right. Ugh, why is that going off? Anyway, and he got it perfectly right. They think he got it perfectly right. And so they're repeating what he said because it wasn't important. Think about it. Think about how unimportant that fact is. And you could just carry that wrong fact around in your pocket because who the fuck is going to hold you accountable to misunderstanding that? Hang on a second. All right, so for some dumb reason, my dad has tripped the truck alarm, and now he doesn't hear it. So I'm gonna go take care of this. Catch you guys later. And Jason Brashears, you need to restore your honor, my man. It's not an honorable way to handle your call for a debate.